All right, so day 2 going here at Otter. We just got here. I checked into the media center. Now we have to go find some more bike content. So let's go ahead and check out what booths we got. Yes, I have my mic on my gold chain. Yes, I have a backpack, and yes, I'm talking to my cell phone, but nevertheless, let's see if we can find some new products. An absolute beautiful day out here at Otter. I mean, literally, you couldn't ask for a perfect day. And these mountains, I am not used to, and I'm intimidated by them, and my legs are on fire from walking around all day. But let's go ahead and head into the park and see what we got. So yesterday I focused a lot on more road. I think I was just more shell-shocked by how many big brands are out here. But this time I think I'm gonna go ahead, go around to the gravel scene. I got some insider scoops and some stuff yesterday that I saw, so I want to stop by some booths of some other companies here and see what's going on. So it wouldn't be a GC Performance video without doing an OSPW feature on here. So I figured I'd stop by the Kogel bearing tent. I have Art tell us a little bit about what they got going on with their new redesign for their CNC custom options. And yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely. So this year the main thing that we do outside of already aerodynamic oversized derailleur cages that we had is we started our in-house Cerakote lab. So now we can go fully wild on the colors.
They look beautiful, by the way. Yeah, they look really nice.
We can make true one-of-one pieces, so you can match it to your kit, to your bike.
Look at that. Look really nice.
To your football team, whatever you prefer.
Yes, exactly. And then you guys said you're working on the new anti-corrosion for the bottom bracket on there.
We have a new line of bearings that is corrosion resistant, so still brings you the same quality that you're used to, but now for people that ride in wet environments.
Yeah.
Shout out to Florida.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's huge. We see a lot of bearings come in to our store, bottom bracket upgrades, whatever the case might be, and one of the biggest things is just the bottom bracket is completely destroyed by salt, corrosion, everything like that. So spend the money in the first place, and definitely that will help out in the long run. All right, cool. So we're gonna go ahead and check out the rest of the show. But thank you to Art for showing us Kogel, and yeah, we'll see what's going on. All right, yeah, man. So we are over here with a company called Fivedev. They make some really nice custom parts for road bikes and mountain bikes. But one of the coolest things that's a new release that's kind of small, but a lot of people appreciate this, is this 8-bolt direct mount for SRAM red crank arms. And what this allows you to do is run a Shimano chainring flush on your SRAM red crank arms, which is huge because if you don't want to have to deal with a heavy Dura-Ace or Ultegra, usually crank arm, you're able to pair this with a SRAM red and then run your regular Shimano Dura-Ace chainrings on there with your power meter pedals, which is really, really cool. I believe it's around $175, but it's for those options that, you know, you just don't want to have a heavy Dura-Ace crank arm on there. And then for crank arms alone, if you want to go with something different besides Shimano or Dura-Ace, they make their own titanium crank arms for $1,200 in all different sizes, I believe from 150 and up, but with some really nice machinings, and they have all different size spindles and everything, and they pair them very nicely. They're working on a prototype for a new GRX update as well, but they're making some really good looking stuff, including their own bottom brackets, their own 1x chainrings as well. I mean, could you imagine this on that? I mean, that is a really good looking crankset right there. Absolutely beautiful. I've installed a couple of these on a customer's bikes, but they make some really good stuff. And they told me that they're in the process, because people are always unsure of what crank arms and sizes they're working on. They're working on this project, which is an alloy version of their crank arms. You can rent it for a week, try it out, and then when you send it back, that rental price goes towards your titanium crank arm. So now you get to try out these crank arms for almost free if you're in the market to buy one, which is really cool. So Fivedev is doing some really cool stuff here. If you're looking for custom parts for stems, crank arms, chain rings, bottom brackets, whatever the case might be, give them a check out, and I'll see you guys very soon. I'll be honest with you guys, I don't know how to end videos when I'm done talking. I have no idea what I'm doing. So currently we stopped by at the Continental booth to check out some of the tires. I'm a huge advocate for the road style of it, but they just released something new I think a lot of people are taking a look at, being that their new mountain bike tire, the Continental, which looks very familiar, almost like their old Race King, but it seems like they're going away from those Race King, Gravel King kind of names, and now they have a whole pharmaceutical name lineup of drugs, or should I say tire, in terms of the Magnetol, the Trinitol, the Dubnitol, which is absolutely crazy. But this is a very popular tread pattern. Us being in Florida, where it's very sandy and very cross-country-y, this is a 29 by 2.4. Now, I could see them in the future going down to like a 2.2 or a 2.0. This would be Dylan Johnson's probably amazing wheelhouse of tires for sure. But a lot of people are going to that 2.2, 2.0 tire for the gravel. So not only could this be a multi-purpose mountain bike XC tire, but if they do make it in smaller sizes in the future, then for sure I think people will be all over that. But very good looking tire, and they have a nice sidewall pattern as well, which looks nice. You can't, it's 2025. You can't just make a tire nowadays and just slap it on the rubber. You need to have something that stands out to be different. You need some logo, you need some sidewalls, you need some different accents to it. So very nice stuff over here at Continental. As always, their road stuff is premium. They have the AERO tire, which I absolutely love. I have it on my bike right now in the 29, the AERO 111. I don't know if it does anything for me because I'm so fat, but I run this in the front and I run a 700 by 30C in the rear for the 5000. But Continental is the industry standard, I think, for road tires. I just had to stop by one more time, look at that canyon. The Matthew Vanderpool Gravel King, the Grail. That is that's one of the best looking bikes out there on the industry. That will make anyone want to ride gravel, 100%. Beautiful. Let me walk away before I get demonetized. All right, so we're at Otter here, so we have to get, obviously, gravel content, and this is the brand new release of the Allied Able. They just took production of a Made in America product. They brought it over to Asia to make it a little bit more affordable, and they did a really good job with it. Not the best timing with the tariffs going on, but they said they're going to keep it over there. But the actual final finished outcome of this product is insane. I think it's what future gravel riders want. The bicycle is able to take up to a 2.25 tire clearance on the front and rear. You can see right there, you have enough tire clearance in the back. You can run a 1x with a 50-tooth chainring on there for clearance, which is crazy with how much tire clearance you got on there. It's UDH compatible. The stem comes included for that price for $4,500, and you're able to actually dismantle and unassemble the bike without having to break down brake hoses because of this two-piece system. You have bolts right here and bolts right here. This whole cap comes off. These bolts come out, and you can actually remove the brake cables through this slit in the back. So that way, if you are packaging or traveling for a race or a Grand Fonda or whatever, you have the ability to get it into a bike box. I think they did extremely well with this clean lines of the bike. It is BSA bottom bracket, which is always tried and true. They have internal frame storage as well that is just magnetic, so you can go ahead and fit whatever you like inside there. Tires, tubes, CO2. You can't fit a tire in there. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. And mounts galore for water bottle cage, bento box. And one last cool feature on here that I think is really, really cool. You see here they have their little eagle on here. You can change this out to make this a full external bike. Well, external, internal. But let's say you didn't like the integrated cable option. You can go ahead, pop your cables through here. They have different mounts that will run inside here. So when packaging the bike, it's very easy to get it off and on into the box, which is great. But I think this is one of the most talked about bikes to release. If you're going for gravel, you're going for wider tires, you're going for 1x big AERO chain rings, you're going for UDH, and $4,500 for the frame, the stem, their own C-post 27.2, and one last thing to talk about as well is that for the tilt, the fore and aft, moving forward and aft, and also the tilt is two separate adjustments, which is great. So you can get your position true in front. Once you're set there, then you go to the back here. You use the bolt right here to adjust your tilt on here. So that way you don't have to worry about your seat moving. Did it move a centimeter? Did it move a millimeter? Very, very cool. A bunch of features thinking about the consumer. So Allied Able, a really clean looking bike. So of course I have to stop by the SRM Power booth because I'm just a complete fanboy, and obviously we do sell a good amount of SRM Power. I know the YouTube scene isn't going to say that much, but a lot of our customers, the S-Works, the Pinarellos, the Dogmas, they do like SRM Power because it is one of the lighter options out there for a power meter system, and they seem to be having some new stuff come out here. One of the more popular setups that we've seen more that Tade was riding in the Tour de France for his TT bike was the SRM Power Meter crank arms that are now paired with Cybrei, which I just had on my bike and I did a video about, but a very lightweight option. One of the nicest crank arms I like as well. They are still working with THM, which THM is, I think, one of the lighter crank arms, or the lightest crank arm option, but it is very expensive. But if you want peak, pinnacle, don't care about money, the THM, I think, is one of the nicest options you can do there. They still have the Look power meter arm that you can change out your crank arm lengths, 170, 172.5, or 175. I would like it if they change that to a 165 in the future, but we'll see there. And then another cool little option here is that their SRM Power Cybrei chain rings that are paired with it. It's a hollow alloy and a carbon fiber plate on the outside, and again, a cheaper option or cheaper alternative to the carbon tie. So now you get that carbon fiber look, and it looks very nice paired with the their SRM power meter and maybe their SRM power meter crank arm, and it just looks complete, and you don't have to spend that fortune of the carbon tie name brand, which is always cool. And another cool little piece I saw over here, they had the Origin AERO Zero carbon. These are kind of new that they're working on. But he said that it's going to be a little bit more aimed towards track bikes and TT bikes for the reason of how wide these new bikes are getting with offsets for their rear stays and their chain stays. So, but we're seeing, I think, the space come and play for the aerodynamic crank arms for sure. You saw Overfast over at the Taipei bike show. They came out with a crazy carbon fiber crank arm, which is really cool. And then this one is actually cool as well. This is Origin AERO. Same concept, but you can actually swap out your crank arm length. This is 165. You want to put a 170 on there. You loosen up that bolt, take this out, and put a 170 on there. Much heavier, obviously, than the carbon, but really cool options for fits. Let's say you're testing out for power, for track, whatever you want. You have the ability to swap out crank arms on there. So very cool stuff at the SRM tent. Let's go ahead and see what else everyone's got. So I was just informed that he was listening to me while I was doing the video, and he basically said that yes, it's confirmed of what I was asking for, that they can make it in like a 165, 170, 172.5. So that way you have the options of what you want, and you can try them out for your fit at home. So very, very cool. All right, so we know we had to stop by the Tavelo and Pertual booth over here at Otter. They have some of the most popular, I would say, of the China selling frames right now, and they're very hot. In my market in Miami, I see so many people riding these things for the race options. I got to test ride it as well. I actually own one. The bicycle performs very, very well at an affordable price. $18.75 for the frame, handlebar and stem, and the seat posts. They have a ton of different options for colorways, but it is a really good-looking, modernized bike with, it looks to be the out front aero features. It can fit up to a 700 by 32C tire on there. You have a BB86 press fit bottom bracket, but very, very nice features. And that is not it, because Tavelo has their own Pertual wheels, which seems to be making some waves for sure. And they have over here the new Sharp Pertual wheels. And Pertual is kind of like their own in-house brand name company. And they have this nice 3-spoke pattern blend with own carbon fiber hubs on there, which look absolutely crazy. And they modernized the inner and the external rim widths on here. But these wheels also over here, the Acme, which George from Sky Sports has to show you, which are crazy lightweight. 1,190 grams for that wheel set. A 45 by 62, 45 being the shallow part, 62 being the deep part. And again, look at the carbon fiber on the hub flange right there. Massive carbon fiber spokes, 23 millimeter internal rim width, 31 millimeter external rim width on there. And they weigh in at sub 1,200 gram wheels for an AERO wheel set, which is crazy. Anything you want to add on there, George?
Yeah, we have a ceramic speed option available, and that's a $2,400 wheel set. Or you can go with our regular ceramic bearings for $2,000. Yeah,
that's crazy. To get ceramic speed bearings inside these manufactured wheels now are really, really good options.
Yeah, so there's 2 rim depths to these Acme's wheels, and the one's 47.53 and the other one is 45.62.
Very nice, very nice. And then they also have a little bit more of a not an affordable budget, but you know it's a lower tier model. They have the exact same Sharp design for, instead of it being carbon fiber spokes and carbon fiber hubs, they have a steel spoke option with silver hubs in there, and they say it's like what, $1,350?
Yeah, it's in the $1,300 range for steel spokes. Really competitive. You know, it's a great stout wheel. You're going to get good responses out of it.
It's very, 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 very nice. But yeah, so if you guys want, check out the Tavelo product, check out the Pertual product as well. I'll put a link to them down below. I mean, like I said, I've really seen Tavelo kind of take over the crit scene. If you guys do need anything, George over at Sky Sports, he has a ton of product on there.
Yeah, come visit us at skysports.cc.
Perfect. All right, guys, I'll see what else is out there, and we'll continue walking around. Before we head out of here, I want to see the weight test on here. So this is the front of the brand new Acme wheel. Again, a 45 is shallow, 62 at the deepest. Let's see what they weigh in at. They are the real world weights. So this is with rim tape and valves. 556 for the front. And let's bump that rear one on there real quick. Let's see that again. Valves and rim tape. So they claim it to be 1190. Uh-huh, uh-huh. 646. So you're pretty much right dead on at 1,200 grams with valve and rim tape, which would be right at that claimed 1190 weight, which is crazy. So very nice stuff. All right, on to the next booth. Next stop on the board is the Cybrei booth over here, and they have a ton of products out on here. If you guys did not know, I currently ride a Cybrei crank. I think it's one of the best alternative cranks out there on the market. Crazy lightweight. They come in a 29 dub spindle if you wanted to, or if you want the newer stuff, they have the 24 millimeter titanium spindle, but you can pair them up. They pretty much run off an Easton configuration for the interface to go ahead and install your spider on there. But you can see here they make their own chain rings as well to power with their different power meter options. They have their own carbon fiber chain rings. They also have this other different carbon fiber chain ring, and then this one. This is their Cybrei Evo for 11 and 12 speed and a 110 BCD to run with a 5640. And then the whole spider here is carbon fiber. So look at that thing. Insane looking, much better. And you can see how pretty that thing looks. A very good option. They also make a different arrays of bottom brackets, which are really good quality. Ceramic bearings inside of here, T47, BSA, and press fit. And then they also seem to be having nice carbon fiber cages on there. So very, very cool stuff. But yeah, Cybrei, if you guys do not know, like I said, I can't speak highly enough of them. Tadej Pogacar basically used them for the Tour de France time trial series on that, and they make really good quality stuff for their cranks. All right, guys, we're over here at the Stromm booth, and they have here one of the most aerodynamic road bicycles I've seen on the market. Absolutely insane. I mean, when you stare at this thing dead on, we'll go over the features in just a second, but it literally disappears. You can't even see anything else that sticks out there when it's clean lines. Like, it's one of the most aerodynamic bikes that I've seen on the market. They have their frame set. They have their own handlebar and stem combination. They said it's a 33-33 on the outside and a 35 or 36? 35? 36 on the outside for the drops as well, to get a little bit of the difference for the sprinting of the drops. But their main idea when developing this handlebar is to be in the hoods and to be pretty close in your aerodynamic position to touching both hands together. But not only that, they have a lot of new features on here, like the 1.1/8" steer tube that you can really run whatever kind of stem and bar you want into there, a BSA bottom bracket. You can fit up to a 34C tire on there as well for front and rear. It is UDH compatible, which you're seeing more and more bikes do. But the claims that they make on these bicycles, that they tested against the best aero bike out there on the market, as you guys can see here, you have the data. This is their own data that they tested. The white bar is their competitor, the fastest bike they have. They told me who it was, but obviously they want to leave it alone. Against the Racked, at 25 miles an hour, it is 10 watts faster. At 25 miles an hour, that is a speed that a lot of people are hitting nowadays. It's not like these crazy pro claims of 38, 30 miles an hour. 25 miles an hour, you're getting a 10 watt saving over the fastest aero bike on the market. And when you go faster speeds, the watt saving goes up. So they have it starting off. It is a little bit more expensive for it, but like they said, they claim to be the best out there. We'll have to see what those claims are. But it is going to be $7,000 for the frame. And then I believe they said $8,700 for an Ultegra Di2 build with their own carbon fiber wheels in there. So there is a price difference there, and they want to push for the group sets on there. But crazy. I asked them about stiffness. I asked them about, because I'm worried about some of my weight. There's no weight limits on here. But they said for the stiffness claims, they're in the middle of the bell range. That's right where they want to be. There's no issues with it, but obviously that's going to come out in the future. So, but yeah, really good looking aero bike. It's crazy to see when people set out and put something to it, that they are doing a good job. But yeah, this is the design. This is the Racked right here. So let's go ahead and see what else they have to offer over at the Otter booth. And it wouldn't be in the video if we didn't have one of these Specialized bikes. This is Primoz Roglic's winning bike from the Vuelta, the Tarmac SL8, and the red color with everything matching of the team color. The Red Bull Bora logo, the SRAM decal decked out, the front shifters, the Supercast bar tape, the CLX team wheels. phenomenal bike. I mean, one of the best looking colors for sure. I think they did on there. We're over here at the Specialized booth. They have a ton of products on display, featuring the new Levo as well that just dropped. But one of the coolest bikes. Hopefully, we'll see some new wheels out of them. I've seen some spy photos of revolves, of road wheels, but looking forward to it. These wheels have been on the market for a long time. We'll see what happens. But yeah, let's go ahead and check out and see what else there is. All right, so I just stopped by the Polygon booth over here, and they have here a beautiful looking bike. As you guys can tell, it says prototype. So he didn't want to go too much into it, but I got a little bit of information out of him. It's coming to market in a couple months. And as you guys know, Polygon is going to be very competitive on their price points. I've had in the past the A9X, the Helios, the Stratos, the 8, and the 7. They do crazy price bikes for what you're getting for value. And this he said, is not going to change there either, because of the fact that he didn't give me the price points on it, but he said that they're really going to be competitive on it. But this is their brand new Polygon TSG. They put it, it's like supposed to be their spin on their new Helios over there. A little bit more of an AERO front fork, a little bit more of an AERO down tube right here, a little bit more flat, kind of similar to like a Pinarello-esque. And then the seat post on here, much more aerodynamic on the upper side of it, but almost looks a little bit Cannondale Super 6 Evo. It is UDH compatible, which a lot of bikes are going to, and then T47 threaded bottom bracket. And another cool thing is the wheels on here. They are their entity brand, but they updated them hugely. You can tell that the internals and the externals have definitely widened up. I love the gloss finish on them. Different entity hubs with carbon fiber spokes. Really, really nice. And then for the handlebar system on here, they changed it from the Vision. They went away with the one-piece bar and stem because they want to give a little bit more options for fit and angles. So this looks to be a carbon fiber stem with an alloy plate and then a carbon fiber bar. This looks a bit dirty. I wish they would clean this up a little bit. I don't think they need that on there. But if this bike comes out with ceramic red, let's just say it's around that $7,000, $8,000 market price, I think you're going to see a crap ton of Polygons on there because that is a clean looking bicycle. But yeah, let's go ahead and keep on walking around and see what else we see. All right, so we're over here at the Duke Racing Wheels booth, and this, if you guys probably have seen this, is pretty familiar. This is the wheels that Dylan Johnson has been using on his felt gravel bike, and for a lot of good reasons. They make road wheels, gravel wheels, and mountain bike wheels. They have their own hubs as well inside there, but look at the width on these gravel wheels here. Crazy width, about 29 millimeter internal, and they think it's like a 43 or 46 external here, paired with their own Duke Racing wheel hubs. And they have a lot of paw engagement for the gravel hubs. They have a 40-tooth engagement system, and then if you go to their mountain bike system, I believe they have a 90-degree of pause in terms of engagement on there as well. But they come in with extremely lightweight, a bunch of different options in terms of colors, a bunch of different options in terms of drivers as well, Shimano, XDR, Microspline. But they come in really, really lightweight. The front weight on the Mad Max is 91 grams, and the rear is 197 grams. And not only that, you can mix and match. They have different depths. He was showing me the road wheel section over there, which is, again, it's really coming out to a nice width. 25 millimeter internals and then 32 millimeter externals, any range from a 50, a 42, a 48, a 35. And then they build them up however you want. If you want their own hub, they have the option. If you want to do N plus hub, they have the option as well. So they can build them however you like on there, which is really, really nice. They are a $2,800 price point depending on what hub you do. They have a $2,400 hub, and then also they have options in terms of possibly a cheaper price point coming out in the future. Now I will say this, they have one of the best warranty and crash replacements on the market. Lifetime warranty replacement for the actual rim for any manufacturer defects. And then they have a lifetime crash replacement that comes in play for about $250 per wheel set on there. But a really nice wheel set, and they're a company out of France, and they have some really nice looking stuff. Here's what the road wheel looks like over here on a beautiful S-Works tarmac SLA, again with a EXS bar on there, which is really badass. But this is a good look of what this looks like. He built them up with the N Plus hub, and they look very, very nice on here. These have the 25 millimeter internal and 32 millimeter external here. Super nice. But yeah, we are over here at the Blackheart booth to check out their brand new gravel titanium fully integrated gravel bike here. I already did the review on the all-road of the titanium version of the road bike that I absolutely loved, but the Blackheart gravel tie is a beautiful option. 3,300?
$3,299 for a titanium frame NV fork carbon seat post.
There you go. You got the NV fork carbon fiber seat post. It can take up to a 47C tire on there. It has a T47 bottom bracket, but the absolutely insane design of the titanium. Nice tight weldings, drop seat stays, fully integrated cable and housing on there, and the titanium just rides insanely smooth. A very nice hum to it. If there's anything else that Mr. Zach would want to go ahead and add to it.
Yeah, thanks for coming by. People are really stoked on it. We've had great response to the road tie, and now with the gravel tie, we've had a lot of demand for it, so went ahead and made it, and I think it's beautiful the way that it came out. I've been saying for a long time that we take two materials, titanium and aluminum, that are sometimes seen as like a niche material, but our bikes are designed for 90% of the cycling enthusiasts out there. So people are really responding well, and yeah, we'll just keep doing what we're doing.
Beautiful, yeah. They make a really nice quality product. It's definitely a nice alternative, but they are very, very capable. They also have an aluminum version if you want to do a full aluminum version with a carbon fiber fork on here as well, the Envy. This is the spec'd out, as you guys see, with those are the Hunt wheels?
Yeah.
Those are the
Hunt wheels, and then a red XXSL mullet build. This would retail for $7,500, which, yes, that's an expensive bike, but when you compare it to other brands that are charging $15,000 for a carbon frame in this build, I think it's a comparable value, but it does start in the high 2000s if you want to do an entry-level build.
Yeah, it's very capable. Like you said, you can get a lot of bike for half the price of what other people start at. So, I mean, I could imagine pulling up to the trail with something like this for $7,500. It is a beautiful, beautiful looking build. Similar qualities, T47 threaded bottom bracket, 700 by 47C tire clearance on there, UDH compatible, but a really nice design. And they anodize them too, so you can come in different colors as well. They have a ton of different color charts if you want. I have mine in like a nice sunflower golden yellow, and there's a lot of color options if you want to be a little bit different. So check them out. I'll put a link down below for you guys to check them out, but Blackheart makes really good quality products. Thank you again, Zach, and I'll see you everyone in the next video. Perfect.